We are now live. The May 20th, 2016 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
How's your week been, everyone?
Good.
Busy.
Finally stopped raining here. We had a nice day with sunshine, and all the motorcycles are out. I have my window open, so you will hear them in the background. Good day for a motorcycle ride here.
Yes.
So we have a couple different subjects we'll be talking about today. Actually, I want to start with Larry and the security notices we're getting from Intuit. We kind of talked about that earlier. Yeah?
Yes, since I had problems with my laptop, I didn't even attempt to do anything with it on either the laptop or the main computer. But I see that I've received several notices. I thought it was odd at first because I got emailed directly from Intuit, and they've never done that before. That I know of.
Well, they have, but in all likelihood, that email is being caught by your spam filter.
Oh.
I know that happens to me a lot because there's so much spam coming in from Intuit these days. There were 2 security notices that came out. The first one was a security update for credit cards, for anybody that has credit cards and are keeping credit card numbers.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people's spam filters have caught that email. So I had a client call me up first thing in the morning, all freaked out.
Oh,
She
boy.
didn't know where her database was. She used QBox. The database was renamed. She had to put in a new password. She had no idea what was happening. At first thought it was QBox, but then called Intuit, and they said, oh, yeah, lots of people are calling about that today. The second one was a security notice on the accountant transfer, which, I don't use these days. I have not used that in at least a year using QBox. The thing about that notice that really I did not like at all was the fact that they said an alternate was Dropbox or Google Drive.
I know.
Yeah, you don't want to use Dropbox for that. You can use Dropbox to transfer a backup copy for them to restore, but you never want to use Dropbox for your live files. That will corrupt your database.
Yeah, and they're the ones who told us that.
Right, exactly. I think they didn't know what else to do and didn't have an alternative. I think QBox would be a good alternative, but they didn't want to say that because you wouldn't be using their service then.
That's right.
So, okay. So, do you want to say any more about your laptop problems, Larry? We did.
Well, I just for my stubbornness, I wasted probably about 2.5 days getting it cleared up. But I'm left with the feeling that I don't have strong confidence in my hard drive. It seems to be running okay now, but
well, I think you had the same problem that Linda did when she uninstalled Slack. It was you're using a Windows laptop and you were uninstalling Apple products.
Actually, it was a desktop that I had, but what I uninstalled Slack, and what it did was, you know how whenever it'll say it wants to remove all these files, and then they say something else might be using this files. Do you want to leave it or delete it? And I didn't get that message, okay? And what it did was it deleted my local area network.
Okay.
Of all things.
So what I had to do was just take it into the guy. He keeps the Windows disk in the bottom of the computer. So he just reinstalled it, and it worked fine then.
Great.
I actually, this last week, or a week ago, I had the main board go out, and he replaced that, and everything was fine. Except my Microsoft Word, my Microsoft Office, It says it's not a valid copy, but I have a new version that I'm going to just install over the top of it. Because he changed out the main board, and the computer goes, "Oh, something changed!
Yeah.
Oh!"
Yep, that's exactly it. Are you on Windows? Are you on Windows 10, Linda?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm on Windows 7 Professional.
Okay.
I'm going to go up probably between July 1st and July 29th. So.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It's posted.
I will.
Next subject, changing courses. Sarah, you discovered Notify this week. Well, a couple weeks ago, actually. Want to talk about it?
Sure. And I think Deb was the one that had a lot of questions I was trying to help answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, it's been going really well. I am now training a lot of people on it, on our staff. We're going to switch from T-Sheets. In the labor field, we're going to switch from T-Sheets to Notify using the app. They just did some updates with Apple and Android, and they promised me that it will work just fine now.
So before we go further, let's talk about exactly what Notify is.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're using it with a
Oh, okay. Okay. I just, I thought people remembered. So Notify is a project management job costing software, web-based, that pushes data in to QuickBooks Online, and it will do all the job costing for you, so you don't have to try and do it on the QuickBooks Online side, which is really not all that great to do. It does time tracking. It does, you can use it for your agreements if you so choose. You can actually write contracts in there, so you can do it from estimating all the way till the end of the project. It does service dispatch as well, so you can track your service agreements and or service trips back out to a job, and like all the material, everything. And it's got a free app to go with it. So I've been on the front end of launching it, and in sync with cleaning up QuickBooks from desktop to online and getting that all working and having the two programs talk and train people on our staff. But it's working really well. It's got bugs here and there, but overall it's been a great experience, and I'm so happy and relieved that we moved to it. So.
Okay, so
Sarah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you have to deal with change? You must have to deal with change orders, right?
And it does that too. It has a digital signature ability. So once you do a change order, as a project manager, if you want, you can go ahead and send that straight out to the client and ask them to sign it. It will save it and push it back in with this digital signature, so you can have a sign. Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow.
It's fantastic in that way. You can do that on your contracts too. Just on the sales side, they're not quite ready for it because it's just we're used to giving like maybe 3 different options in one style of format, and it's a single option. You can create different ones, but it doesn't have that capability quite yet. So.
Would it be fair to say that, is he saying notify or nullify? I mean,
Notify. Mm-hmm.
Nullify. Okay, is that fair to say that it's more designed for contractors and what's the other one you're using? You replaced.
Oh, the T-sheets for the
T-sheet,
time tracking?
Is T-sheets more generic? I mean, for every kind of service-based industry? And
I think what I love, T-sheets does time tracking really, really well. And what I love is that it integrates. But what I found was if you don't use the payroll service inside QuickBooks, which I don't, there's only so much you can push in and get the data out of. So I was basically duplicating my work from that, where it really holds a lot of that data in the Notify app. So it's nice that you can schedule your staff to the job. The time tracks against what is scheduled, so they know how many hours they're budgeted for on that job. It'll allow them to go over if they need to, but there will be probably more conversation. It's very open in that way. If staff needs to purchase anything out in the field, they can snap a photo, send it back to the office through the app.
That's so nice.
It is nice.
Such a
You can
nice, people
draw.
like that, believe it or not, more than anything.
That's a huge fee. You can do drawings. So if you are scheduling someone and you upload a drawing, it'll go to their phone. They can open the drawing up on their phone and look at the whole feature. You can do your work orders automated through there once you've scheduled staff. It's like every time I turn a corner, I'm thinking, oh, it's so cool in that way. And then, okay, I got to think very simply.
Does it do estimates and budgets and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it does. You put in your budget or your estimate, which they consider plan and track. You put that in, and as you order material, you can either issue purchase orders through there, which they do way more robustly, obviously, than QBO. And and you can receive against a PO, or you can just put it in directly, and it pushes in. You can tell it to push into QuickBooks. So really, it's a matter of switching everything. You don't enter stuff into QuickBooks that's job related. You enter it through Notify, so it pushes in.
So now you have more users in Notify than QBO.
Oh yeah, I never had anybody in on the desktop. It was just myself and someone else. I mean, you just very limited for cost reasons for a lot of that, but also just didn't want people to mess up a file. Whereas this, it is, everyone. I have 21 people right now, and I'll probably end up with about 24, 25 by the time I add more people into it. But
is it strictly QBO, or does it do desktop or any other kind of software like Zero or?
It doesn't do desktop. I asked about that early on because I was on desktop, so that was the main premise for me to switch over to QBO. At this point, they don't do other software programs because I was curious about that. They really have just either independent or sync in. Everything is, you can download it out though. I mean, like you can CSV file it out of there if you need to do it that way. So I just figured it was just an easy no-brainer. Just make the switch because this would be more of a dashboard, global, instantaneous. If you're a sales guy and you want to know like, hey, where am I at on this job because I'm bidding something else.
Right.
You get to look at it and know right where you are at any moment of time.
Does it keep, I'm assuming it has historical information so you can, adjust your bids if necessary or on a go-forward basis, so you say, geez, we've been running high on this kind of service or cost or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It does do that. And, I think, honestly, what it does is it takes the pressure off because it does a fully burdened rate in there too. You can put all that information in. It takes the pressure off of hurry up when a job closes and make sure you get all the stuff together and make sure you've put everything in the right place. Now produce this outside document to make sure that there's a fully burdened rate with how you do your multipliers and all this stuff. And it relieves that pressure off of me, puts the burden on a little bit more on the project managers to know, okay, my guys went to the electric shop 4 times today. What is going on? I thought I bought everything because they're entering all those invoices. I'm not doing that anymore, which is a blessing.
And the GPS lets you know if there's a bar next to that supply shop.
I know. Yeah.
Well, so I take it the project manager must have quite a bit of responsibility to approve all these purchases, right?
Yeah, I mean they're entrusted to make sure that job works within the budget that's given. Purchase it because these are not small projects.
Right.
I think it's fair to say our average projects are definitely on the higher end, sometimes in the 3-figure on up, if not more. We have a much larger one. Okay. So you're entrusted to either when you're when you're starting that bid, you're obviously procuring bids ahead of time so that you know, and then you're entrusted to do that on the project management side, and you got to manage that resource too.
You got warning signs that, geez, at this rate we're going to go over budget.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it because it really is dashboard style. I mean, it's got like where it says your profit and loss, so you can show when you're invoiced if you have milestone payments or invoicing payments that you choose. So you can do that. It'll have like a kind of circular thing that says your percent of profit, and loss. And then it's got a dashboard of like how much material's been purchased to date, how much revenue has been billed. And it's all like right in front of you. And then you can kind of push buttons and get in there a little bit further.
So it has progress invoicing.
Yeah, and it does AIA invoicing, which I love.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
AIA,
Only a person that has gone through that would say that.
AIA, what is AIA?
the Architectural Institute, like it's a form of a billing that is.
Government work.
Mark's shaking his head. Yeah, he knows.
It is so, it's just, you can mess up, and I just give up on it sometimes.
I equate that to certified payroll.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I had AIA and certified payroll in one setting, and I thought I was gonna pull my hair. So,
Nice. So keep us posted, and we would love to have them demo.
I sent you that information for Dan. I told him early on, and he totally agreed to do it. So I emailed you that info to come.
Okay. So we'll try and set that up for July then.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any more questions about Notify? To be continued. Okay. Deb is up next. Deb, I had to mute you. You were on. You were typing. So unmute yourself. Let me see if I can do it. There we go. Okay. Now you're unmuted.
Okay, now
Okay. You want to talk about Ledger Sync. You have discovered Ledger Sync this week.
oh, I tell you, this Ledger Sync, I really like it. I mean, let me get my thing and I can show it to you. Hold on. This is,
Looks like a TV studio.
Well,
yeah, here's I got 4 monitors.
About adding 3 monitors. Deb has got you beat.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, this is Ledger Sync. It's hard to see with this. But see, you can go out, and this is a bank. I'm doing this now. You know how, like, here's a check. Okay, like this is a check. I click on it. There's the actual picture of the check.
Okay.
Which then I can type into this thing here. Okay. And it goes out to all these banks. So I'll go over here. Here's all my clients that I have hooked up.
Okay. Be careful putting this on. We're live.
All right. Well, that's just the names of the business.
Okay.
So then I can go out and actually export the file as a QBO file, for a QuickBooks,
Online.
not a QuickBooks Online file, the QBO banking file.
Okay.
The banking
So
one
you
or a
imported.
CSV. I'll tell you, we set up one account we did, and I was showing my staff here, and I said, look at this. This is so cool. So we did one account. We went through, and it was, we went through, named the things, exported it as the QBO file to import it into desktop. Literally, the bank, from start to finish, took 20 minutes.
Nice.
And so she was doing the monthly work for them, and she says, oh, I still have to do yayas. And I said, it's done, remember? She goes, oh, I forgot. So
Wouldn't that be awesome? Thinking you have another hour's worth of work and
yeah,
you don't.
Because some of these clients, they don't, they still handwrite checks, and I know this Firm of the Future stuff is great, but some of these clients are still firms of the 19th century, and they write checks, and then you have this list of checks, and you have to, couple clients, they don't even get that. We have to actually go to the bank site and look up every check on it, have it come up, and then the bank. So this has solved that problem.
Nice.
So you can download it as a CSV if you want, or download it as a QBO or whatever.
So have you found any limitations on any of the banks? Because I know a lot of bank syncing depends on what the bank settings are, what you're getting out.
Well, the one bank I've had a problem with is this Gateway Bank, and they don't even hook with QBO. And I had a client come in, and he said, where do you bank? Gateway. And I didn't know anything about Gateway Bank. And anyway, I went out there, and it's one of these where you need the two screens to, get to the site, where you have to put in the one name, and then you have to put in the other name. And so I called the bank, and I said, they go, oh yeah, we integrate with QuickBooks Online. I go, no, you don't. Well, how they do it is export it to an IIF file and you import that. I go, that's not going to work for me. I mean, that's just such old technology that I'm not using that. So I told this guy to change banks, and because it just doesn't work. I mean, you know, it doesn't work.
Oh, I agree. I've been actually filling out surveys. I've got a lot of banks lately that are asking me, would you like a loan? I said, well, since you brought the subject up, I would consider taking a loan out of your bank more if your website was updated.
Right.
So that's my answer. They want to start selling to me, I push it right back to them.
I think I told you the story. I was at a client one time, and he wanted to import the bank data into QuickBooks Desktop. I said, well, you can do that. Go to the bank site. So he goes to the bank site, and we found the export button, and I looked down the list, and the only export they had, export to QuickBooks Desktop and you know, it created an IIF file. I said, oh, you don't want to use that. There's no error checking. You just don't want to do it. Really? How come? I said, it's old technology. You know, it's just not good. There's such a better way, and your bank doesn't support it. So what I recommend is that you change banks. And he said, well, I'm on the board of trustees of this bank. He actually picks up the phone and calls the president of the bank and said, you need to upgrade that. I said, because I said, to be honest with you, if you know, I go to a lot of clients, and if they show me that they're using your bank, I tell them to switch, because clients want fast, easy, accurate, and effective, and your bank doesn't provide that. So he called the president of the bank to get going. I don't know what's come of it, but apparently, so they called back while I was there, and they have to go out and format. I have a company that actually they have to pay to have that done. Pay for it. I said, you know, you're going to get customers. I mean, you know, otherwise people won't use your stuff. Bankers want to have good, accurate information with their clients. If you don't allow them to get that with your bank, they're not going to be able to get a loan to build their business. Don't you want people to get which I hate loans, pay cash, but I was trying to get them to upgrade to the QBO export. You know, so that was interesting. But these banks, they're clueless. These bankers.
Well, they've always been, we're the bank and you're not, and you deal with whatever way that they give you to deal with. And that's why I'm filling out surveys and things and pushing back and saying, here's what I want. You want me to go paperless? I'm happy to go paperless, but you got to provide me the information I need quick, easy, efficiently, just like you said.
Right. If you don't do it, then I can't use you. And, you know, exactly. And this ledger sync's nice because, you know, if you have customers that don't want to give you their bank login, and a lot of them don't, you know, so then you have to wait for them to email you the statement, or
Is it sort of like HubDoc?
It's kind of like HubDoc, because you can go out there and you can actually click on a button. It will actually pull up the statement. So you get a copy of the statement. Now, I know HubDoc, this is just pulling the bank data. I don't think it pushes to QBO. But of course, if you have QBO bank feeds, you don't need it. But sometimes you'll need, for the QBO clients I have, if they handwrite a check, and a lot of them still do, you know, it comes in as check number 4567.
Yeah.
You know, well, what's that? Well, here on this, I can actually see what the check was written for. Or those on desktop that, you know, they still write checks, and I have a lot of clients that I do after the fact, meaning they do their stuff all month, and then they send me a pile of crap, and I have to input it into the system. So, you know, I call that after the
laughing. She doesn't mean that seriously, or maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, they just give you a pile here. I feel like Rumpelstiltskin. You know, take this pile, and, you know, and you know, okay, I need the spinning wheel to do that, and this my new spinning wheel to make their pile of straw into gold.
Dennis, you had mentioned that you have figured out a way to have 3 monitors. Glad Deb's on today. How many monitors do you have, Deb?
10.
I have 4 and my iPad, and my I have 4 monitors and an iPad.
Wow. Well,
Mission control.
Since I hate opening up my computer, putting in video cards, there's this. I found this external video card that's USB, and it's got a USB plug-in, and then the other end is a VGA or an HDMI or whatever, or it was a DVI, that I had an extra monitor, and I just hooked it up. I bought a 10-foot VGA cord so it would reach, and I just basically plugged in, uploaded the drivers from the CD, and then plugged it in, and it popped right up. So now I have 3 screens that I can use, which is really, I hadn't realized how useful it is, because I have stuff that, like when I'm listening to music or things that aren't really work, but more just kind of entertainment, I can have on one screen. And I can also have, like with Intuit Tax Online, I can have different tax returns on different screens. So it's kind of, or having, the current year and the previous year. And so I can kind of go back and compare and what I put in there. So it's for like, it was like $50, and I got it on Amazon. So I'm happy with it.
Nice. I use my Chromebook for that. I have my Chromebook that I'll set up. And I'll do, if I'm watching a webinar or I'm listening to music or whatever, I'll have that on my Chromebook. So that'll be my third monitor. And then I actually have 2 monitors connected to 2 different computers. I don't have them on the same computer anymore.
Oh, why is that?
Well, just because I bought a new machine.
Oh.
And my old machine was Windows 7. I don't ever want that baby to go away, my Windows 7.
I use Windows. I'm still a Windows 7.
Well, I converted, I think I told you before, I converted Windows 7 to Windows 10 on one computer, and then I had to reinstall Windows 7. Well, I converted it again. This time it worked, and so I foolishly thought, well, I can convert my other Windows 7 to Windows 10, and so now I've lost my internet connectivities, getting this DNS type of error. So I don't know, it's always something with Microsoft. And I live like about 25 miles from Microsoft, so I've been to their campus several times. Actually done a beta testing for them over there about 10, 15 years ago. That was kind of a trip.
Oh, I bet you. That life was different 10 or 15 years ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, they put you in a booth, or it's a room, and it's got a one-way mirror they can look through and watch what you're doing.
Oh, my goodness.
You're kind of thinking out loud as you're going through. They give you a problem to solve, and you're sort of thinking out loud, telling them how you're approaching this problem and what you're trying to accomplish, so they can kind of measure, does this make sense to people and that kind of thing. Then they gave you like free software at the end.
Well, you can tell that they've really done away with that type of program. They don't care. They put out their new improved way of doing things, whether you can figure it out or not.
Well, now everybody's a beta tester. It's like,
that's right. Everyone becomes the beta tester now. So, Dennis, you wanted to talk about Tax Planner Pro also.
Yeah, it's the guy's name is Chris Reagan. It's pretty impressive. Very impressive guy. He's got a Facebook site that I belong to. I also have I joined early, one of the first joiners, and so I got a special deal on the monthly price. But the thing I like about it, he's always improving the site. He has about 25 hours of training on types of tax planning, and his take on it is that that's where the value is that you're not going to save much on taxes after, when you're doing taxes during the busy season, because things that you could have taken advantage of, those deadlines have come and gone.
Yeah, it's beyond 12/31. So
yeah, and so the idea is
about retirement. It's over.
Yeah, and so now you can upload QBO files, desktop files, Zero files. It's primarily for businesses, Schedule Cs, and business entities. But he'll do some 1040s on that, and so you can actually plug in the 1040s. And I was using it a little bit as kind of a reasonableness test last tax season for projections of income taxes, and so for projections of savings on 1040s. And he's also getting now where he's adding some new things. Like, were you on the program this morning, Sarah? You were on, weren't you? Maybe you might want to say a few things about it.
Oh, I was amazed at the additional training that you get, that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That in and of itself. But I was playing around with just the demo stuff that he had, and the simulator I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
One question I had asked but never got mentioned this morning was if you can simulate, let's say that you're a sole prop or an LLC, not that he does that, the sole prop, but what it would look like in an S corp. If you can look at those differences for yourself, maybe you have that experience from using it, but.
Well, no, I've used ITO. I mean, I created I have a client that I converted to an S corp. They were a daycare, and they're just getting hammered on self-employment tax.
Yeah.
And so I converted her to an S corp, and she saved about $6,000 in payroll taxes.
Oh gosh.
Because she paid herself. You have to pay yourself a reasonable salary, but the thing about an S corp is that you don't get taxed on the total earnings for self-employment. You just get taxed on your salary. Mm-hmm. Whereas she was getting, the daycare owner, she was getting taxed on her net income, the 15.3% tax.
Yeah.
So,
crazy.
Yeah, she was very happy with it, switching over to the.
So you're a hero.
It's nice I really appreciated the conversation around financial accounting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because I feel like that's how I play a role here is, I kind of learned what the CPA was doing and tried to reverse engineer and understand it on the QuickBooks side or the bookkeeping side or financial accounting side, because every entry means something somewhere and what does it look like. So I appreciated that he really was like, that was a niche of a conversation that was, I thought, much more important, that we really are those types of people.
And the dirty little secret is a lot of tax preparers, they'll just take the QuickBooks file, load it in their software, and just accept it. And also, if there's any changes to be made, they never get made, like depreciation or anything like that. And so the file is still wrong when it comes back to the client because the tax preparer hasn't done anything. He's just done it he or she's just done it in their program.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, sometimes there's a difference between tax and book. I mean, because it doesn't match the tax return, it doesn't mean the file's wrong.
It's not that part of the conversation. Right. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, Dennis, but it's mostly about understanding the person doing the work and putting the information in is the person that really knows, truly, really.
And my point was that, Doug Sleater talks about all the time that you have to have a higher level of knowledge with the software now because you're not just making data entry. A lot of bookkeepers that I've worked for in the past, they could enter the data in, but they wouldn't necessarily know, if something is wrong.
What I find frustrating when I work with tax preparers, they'll come back with entries and they'll go, okay, just accounts payable.
Jesus.
Or they get the file. They make a general journal entry to AR.
Right.
And I go, no, you can't do that. We keep sub ledgers. My books, when you get them, are practically perfect in every way. I feel like Mary Poppins now.
Yeah.
You come in, you're making all these freaking journal entries that screws everything up. I said, you, Mr. Tax Preparer, are interested in one day of the year, the tax day. I'm interested in the other 364 to run the business. So you tell me what you want, and I can make that happen. But don't come into my books and F them up because, then
I have been on the call this morning because that's exactly what we talked about.
I had that experience when I had a client that their books are being reviewed by KPMG, and the auditors were telling me, well, says the accounts receivable doesn't match the detail. And I said, well, it's because you screwed it up because you made a general journal entry to AR.
Right. I got a call today from a CPA, and he goes, well, your books aren't, you need to, what is this undeposited funds account?
Oh my goodness.
I said, I have to explain that one more time.
It's in the drawer and I didn't take it to the bank.
Exactly what I told him. I said, that's money that the bank, that we've received, that the bank hasn't recognized yet. Well, why is it in the bank? Because the bank hasn't recognized it yet. There's the in transit part,
Deposit and trance is what it really is.
You know, and
It doesn't mean you have to do it.
well, then why haven't you put it in the bank and call it deposits in transit? I said, because it's Visa, MasterCard, it's American Express.
Yeah.
You know, it's a whole lot
A
of
lot
stuff.
of different things.
You know, so just trust me on this. That bank account will go to zero. Everything that gets deposited to the bank comes from undeposited funds. Oh, it's not deferred revenue? He asked me if it was deferred revenue. I go, no, we got paid. I mean, I spent
Yeah, you counted
45
twice.
minutes walking to
Deferred
this.
revenue is, what is that, an asset or a liability account? One
It's
of
a
the-
liability account. It's money we got that they haven't used the service.
Yeah.
So I go,
Like a magazine subscription.
yeah, you know, so I said, no, deferred revenue. We already got the money. It's in the bank. We just haven't given them the service yet. It's a total balance sheet transaction. You know,
Well, I have lunch. I have lunch with a month with a bunch of other CPAs. It's our tax roundtable, and there are probably about 15, 20 of us, and most of them are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And they're always asking me about QuickBooks questions because they know I'm a pro advisor. And, you know, like I say, a lot of CPAs that do tax either hate QuickBooks, don't understand it, want to make journal entries, and, you know.
we have a lot of accountants that don't understand QuickBooks that want to make journal entries. Oh, we'll make a journal entry. No. I mean, I mean, I said, you might as well use paper and pencil then. I mean, you know, all you're after then is the financial statements, which are important. But that's a result of all the other stuff that's going on. You know, we want to see who owes us money. How long do they take to pay? What is the biggest item we're selling? Which vendor are we selling the most to? Who are 1099 people that we're paying? You can't do that with journal entries.
No.
Well, to me, the thing is that everything's a journal entry if you do a Control Y on QuickBooks.
That's what I told them. I said, everything we do is a journal entry. You know, Control Y. And they go, oh, wow, look at that.
You know, it's
It
just
all affects the debits and credits, but it's just, we're using a spy mask. I always say, you remember when you were a kid, you had that spy thing you did? There was all these red letters, and you put this thing between it, and then you could read the code. I said, the code is the financials and the debits and credits, which customers don't understand. You know,
I think the reason that QuickBooks, you know, surpassed Peachtree in the, you know, earlier was because Peachtree was more designed for bookkeepers.
yes,
And
I
QuickBooks
agree.
was designed for business people using sort of a metaphor of, you know, sort of simulating a real world, like you write a check, you make a deposit, you do an invoice, and so then behind the scenes, QuickBooks would magically code it with their items, whereas
Right.
opposed to knowing which journal entry to make, you know, the only thing is you need to make sure the items are separate, right? Otherwise, you really screw things
Yeah,
up.
it's a setup. I mean, I always tell people, I said, you know, QuickBooks is like this. If I told you as an accountant, oh, you're going to debit expense and credit cash, what would you do? And they go, well, I don't know. I go, if I told you to write a check to Office Depot, would you understand that? They go, oh, yeah, I get that. Well, that's exactly what I just told you to do with debit expense and credit bank.
Right.
People, I talk in your language, not my language.
Right.
You know, so
Tar,
when
do
I
you
talk
want
to
to
accountants,
chime in on this?
what?
I wanted to ask Tar his opinion on that.
He's that Debbie, she talks too much.
Yeah, I really can't comment on the evolution of Peachtree versus Intuit. I will say the 600-pound gorilla still weighs 600 pounds, so it's very much there. However, things have a way of devolving as they evolve, i.e. Windows 10 to Windows 7. I'm not on Windows 10 yet. I'm dragging my heels, kicking and screaming.
A bunch of us
That
are.
evolution. So the point Dennis made that, you know, it was written for example, bookkeepers, enrolled agents initially. I found that yes, there is still a significant legacy of bookkeepers and enrolled agents who would rather go to their grave than, you know, go use Intuit or QuickBooks, desktop or online. They like it the way it was, and that's the way they're going to be. They're not going to change. I don't say either one is right or wrong. I say whatever works for you, stick with it, which is why we'll be taking a look at Sage View in June, because guess what? It works with both QuickBooks Online Desktop, Sage 50, Peachtree, and Sage 1. It doesn't care. It's application agnostic, and it's what you were talking about earlier. Having financial advice where you can say, I'm not waiting to keep score at the end of the year. I've got to help manage this business. every day, every week, every month, every quarter. And where do I get the information that a human can understand without the T journals? You know?
Absolutely.
So we'll look at Sage View, which I'm not supposed to say it right now, but some of you are out of my territory. There's a way to actually get it for free. You pay for 1 month, you get 6, and if you don't like it, throw it away. So you can always try it for nothing.
Nice, and that's a long trial period, 6 months, as opposed to 15 days with some, or a month.
Well, that's my personal trial recommendation. I'll tell you why, because my background was working with CFOs and C-level people in wholesale distribution and manufacturing businesses, trying to help them understand where they could make financial or operational improvement. And the only way I could do that was to measure what was happening monthly, weekly, quarterly, year over year, what's the trend, and turn that into information that was actionable in real time. And there's quite an art to that. So if I was to give you the tool, just like I trained about 130 people in North America how to go out and sell the tool. But I'll tell you what, giving you the tool doesn't give you the wisdom or understanding on how to use it. So I say give it a few months so that you have a chance to really apply it to different types of businesses. And then you can hang out your shingle and say, yeah, I'm a management advisor. I'm not just a scorekeeper anymore. So 6 months to me is my personal, give it a window of chance and let me work with you, teach you how to use it, not just give it to you and go, turn this on, turn that off. Here's a report, and you look at it and go, what in the hell does that mean? And how do I tell that to somebody who's a wholesaler or manufacturer? He's a warehouse manager. He lifts big things. That's all he knows. So that's my 5 cent spiel. Thank you for letting me plug that in there.
Well, since we have you now, let's talk about the free 5-week video series from Sage Intelligence.
I flipped over to that on my legacy Windows 7 laptop here, and I said, aha, that's all Sage 50, i.e. Peachtree. So no wonder I don't know anything about it, because it's outside of my silo, if you will. And I apologize. I'll make it a to-do to learn a little bit more about that. But it's obvious that that's a connector for Sage 50, much like ProfitSense might be a connector for somebody running another program, or in our case, Sage View for somebody running QuickBooks, or they're running Sage software.
So Sage View would kind of do the same thing?
It's providing that actionable intelligence, yes. Most definitely. And we may have a chance to look at that in June. It's fairly straightforward. But I can send if you have a pen and pencil, I can give you a link where not only can you learn a little bit more about it, but you can also download a free trial copy. Now, they'll only give you 30 days, which I don't at the home office. When I get somebody involved with it, I say, hey, look, sign up for the $19.95 a month version. You can try it with 5 clients in real time. And guess what? Every month after that, you use it up to 6, I'll pay for it. So there you go.
Wow.
I think you'll like it. I'll make sure you like it. So.
Wow, awesome.
I have something to share.
Okay.
This is an interesting thing I found out. I have an American Express card that I use as my credit card. And I went and I decided that I would make a reservation and use a bunch of points. I had 32,000 points. So I made a reservation for 2 nights using this Amex, and that Amex Travel made the reservation for me. And they charged my card. They paid for half. The reservation was like $322.06. Okay, $322.06. But they paid for half of that with 32,000 points, and the other half of it they charged. Well, it turns out another lady made a similar reservation, and we decided to cancel my reservation and to keep hers. Well, what was interesting is my points got turned into cash that was put as a payment on my American Express card. When I canceled that reservation with plenty of time, they credited my American Express card $322.06. They didn't give me my points back. They gave me money back for my points.
Oh.
And first I thought, I should call them to get my points back. And then I thought about it and I thought, this is better.
Hey,
Money is always better.
$9.
Money's always better.
Paying my balance down.
You can earn interest on money.
That's
I
right.
was surprised. And I said, well, I'm not going to call them and tell them. But I wouldn't have realized it unless it happened to me. It's like when you buy on Amazon. When you go to Amazon and you buy any version of QuickBooks, you're buying it from Intuit.
That's right.
Because I did it that one time by mistake, and to get my money back, I had to wait for a paper written check. 2 months. So.
Obviously, they don't use Bill.com, do they?
Well, it's funny because with Amazon, I have my little credit card on the one click. So I can go to Amazon and I just do a one-click buy and it charges my card and everything. So when you make a mistake buying something from Amazon, you just call them and say, oh, I made a mistake. Back it off, give me my money back. And they do that. But they couldn't do it with QuickBooks Pro that I bought from Intuit. They said, oh, you didn't buy it from us. You bought it from Intuit.
Huh.
So you know, when you make a mistake like that, you discover sometimes how systems work. And sometimes they work in a very unusual way.
Amazon's pretty interesting. Amazon, when you go to their site, you are not always buying from Amazon.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are selling through Amazon, like Intuit, but on a smaller scale.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
especially on used books, you know.
Oh, on anything. Homemade
true.
items, soaps and stuff like that. Even, you know, I know people that go out and go to discounted places.
Yes.
They buy things super cheap and put it on Amazon.
And they turn around and sell it.
It's sold from the Amazon site. Amazon keeps it in their warehouse. They do all the shipping. They do everything. All you get is money in your bank. So,
Yes, a lot of different deductions,
Right.
which you can figure out how you're going to track those. But you don't want to get too detailed in tracking it, or you have kind of a nightmare. Because my client that I took from Quick into QuickBooks, they sell through Amazon. Amazon does a bunch of fulfillment for them.
Okay.
Interesting.
It solves a problem. It allows small businesses or small people to compete in the bigger market.
Absolutely, it does. So, Tar, did you speak about Sage View last week? Because I missed last week. Is that?
I didn't really dwell on it too much because it's kind of in a class of its own, to be honest with you. It was written by the by the CFO of Sage in collaboration with kind of an innovations group of I forget the number. It could have been 1,500 different accounting professionals. Excuse me a second. And the idea was they wanted something that was software agnostic, would work from anywhere, virtually any device, that would enable them to actually manage data, measure data, and present client-facing reports to their clients, regardless of whether they were running on QuickBooks or they were running on Peachtree, online or desktop. They wanted it to be transparent. So Sage View was launched just about a year ago, and has been tremendously successful. In fact, K2 Enterprises, Val Steed, and the good folks at Accounting Today called it the #1 business intelligence school for 2015, one of the most innovative products. But the price point may have had something to do with it. You compare that to something like Profit Sense. My meeting with an accountant last week in LA, so I tried that. I really liked it. It was $1,200 for the year. I said, really? like something for $3.95 a month. He says, you're kidding. Well, that's the per client charge, regardless of how many, you got 10 clients, it's going to be, $39.50 a month. It's not a big deal. And he said, well, that's amazing, and it really works. I said, try it. Trust me. If it doesn't work, I'll pay for it. But I don't.
Got it.
I know. Yeah.
So is it like ratio analysis?
It's key performance indicators.
KPIs.
KPI.
There are KPIs. However, you have the ability to very easily, almost click and drag, depending on whether it's an income-based item that you're going to analyze, or it's a balance sheet item. An example of an income item, I'm a restaurateur, and I'm not thinking about turning inventory, but I'm thinking about turning tables. So I can literally create the bar and say, hey, how are we doing productivity-wise in turning tables? I got 100 seats. If I turn one time, that's not so good. If I turn 3 times, that's phenomenal. And where am I turning it? So you can really play with any performance indicators that are actually meaningful to the client. Or if you like, you can fall back, you give it the old stick code numbers, and it'll say, oh, for firms of your size who are, selling garden tools wholesale, then this should be your key ratios or indicators by day, by week, by transaction, by month, what have you. Or how are we trending compared to last year, the year before? Where do we want to go? It allows you to do what ifs and forecasting models as well.
So I assume the data is captured in some other system like QuickBooks or some database or something like that.
Yeah, it's non-invasive to the origin system. It simply sends out a token, which either QuickBooks or the Sage software says, oh, okay. And then you preset maybe once a day, I want to go ahead and automatically have it upload the files. It synchronizes them. Your only really work that you have to do when you set up Sage View is to map the chart of accounts that that's coming in with what you want to see, to present to the client, whether it's an income or financial balance or an asset management, or a balance sheet item. That's it. You map it one time, it'll tell you, the scoring goes great. You got everything mapped. It's coming out of QuickBooks Online or desktop. And from here on in, you have a dashboard. And on the dashboard will be all of my clients. And then I pick 9 columns across. This is what I want to see. I want to see days outstanding AR, AP. I want to see liquidity. I want to see whatever. Gross profit, quick ratios, anything you can name. You choose the columns, and you'll see things appear numerically in green, yellow, or red. And anything that's in green means that as of today, as of this week, this month, this quarter, it's actually tracking against what you and the client said were your objectives, and you're okay. Anything in red is giving you an automatic alert suggesting that the fire is probably in the basement. You may want to go down there and have a look at it.
So those are indicators you've already pre-set up then?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then the only adjustments you do are to decide, this is really good. This is kind of in the yellow zone. Geez, my AR is going from 45 to 60 days. And this is red zone. My AR is going from 61 to 90 days. Kind of a scenario.
Are you familiar with the term?
It's on autopilot. You can literally fly the ship on autopilot, but only you have access to that dynamic data. The client gets a client-facing report showing day, week, month, quarter. Here's how you're doing.
Are you familiar with the term OLAP cubes? OLAP cubes? Are you familiar with that term? Online analytical processing cubes? I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like. We're essentially, rather than a database sending transactional data, they will summarize data and then send it to a cube, and you have measures where you're slicing and dicing. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
It's very similar. You should look at it on that link. You'll see the dashboard in real time. You'll also see the report summaries and the client-facing reports, where it actually explains to a client, this is what gross margin return on inventory is, GMROI, and the average wholesaler go, huh?
If it's pulling data from, let's say, QuickBooks or QBO,
yes, sure.
How is the data being summarized in QBO, or is it being summarized in Sage View when it comes in.
It's pulling right out of the trial balance, out of the chart of accounts from QBO or QB Desktop or Sage. So for each account number that's on the chart of accounts for the client, I'm pulling that transactional data right straight out of there.
Okay.
Now, I'm not putting anything back. It's it's one way. It's non-invasive, but I'm pulling it out, and I'm pulling it. You can pull it anytime I want, but typically once a day should be more than sufficient.
It sounds like it's doing the summarization in Sage View as opposed to pulling summarized data out of QBO.
That's right. And once it's in Sage View, I hate to use Excel as a comparison, with pivot tables, but I'm now able to dynamically play with the data. Oh, and by the way, I can export the data and the reports that come out of it, which is kind of sweet too. But this is your tool. This is not something that the client or the end user puts on their desktop or in the cloud and says, "Oh, I'm going to play with this." No, this is your tool, for management.
Dangerous in a client's hands.
Yeah.
First of all, they're not quite sure what they're looking at, and they may run down to the warehouse and try to fire Larry because he's not turning fast enough for something. And it's not Larry's fault. The owner just sees a special online and he says, "Well, I got to have 100 cases of this stuff."
Or God forbid the day's no good.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Check it out. I mean, price point wise. It's probably going to change, I think, next month when Sage goes to more bundled opportunities where people will get, you get 3 Sage View licenses, you'll get 5 Sage 1 licenses, you'll get 2 of the new bank feed. There's a little Sage, mini, I'm going to call it, coming out, which is just bank feeds.
Wow.
That'll be coming. I have no idea what they're going to sell that for, because right now Sage 1 costs $1 for a year. So how low can you go?
Right, exactly. Well, we'll be seeing that demo in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it from top to bottom, but it's rather quick. Anyone who wants to get a preview can always go on that link I had, /account US accountant. I was typing a little fast there. /Sage View.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to check it out, but we'll have some fun with it.
I'll put that link in the video.
Thank you.
So, yes, it'll be on the group site also.
All right.
So look forward to that. Looking very much forward to that.
My pleasure. That's what we're here for.
Awesome.
Friday, because as soon as we hang up, I'm going to have to go out in the yard and do honeydews and drink beer, and it's a horrible experience.
Yeah. Especially the honeydews.
We're about out of time today. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about before we close? We've got all the subjects this week?
I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week.
I have a question. I have one. I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
That thing this morning with the Tax Pro, is that available for viewing later? Was that one of those recorded?
Yes.
Okay, great, good.
Okay.
Signed up for that in the beginning when he first did it, and I never actually used it because I don't do taxes for anybody. And the more I thought about it, I thought it didn't make any sense for me because I don't do taxes for anyone. And unless I were able to partner up with somebody who did do taxes, it didn't make sense for me. It would be like I'd be competing but not competing. So great. But it was excellent from everything I saw.
Awesome.
Yeah, have you seen him before, Chris Reagan? He's very high energy.
His webinars are great. I went to a number of webinars in January and February and signed up, and I was paying $79 a month, but I never used it.
Yeah. I see a lot of potential with it. It's just, he's also got some stuff out on marketing. I've just been so busy with taxes, I haven't had a chance to.
Got it.
I'm hoping to focus more this month on it, at least maybe in June. It's almost.
Yeah, Memorial Weekend is coming up very soon.
My birthday is Memorial Day.
Oh, okay.
Happy
I'll be
birthday on Monday.
60.
Oh, congratulations.
I only live 21 though.
Giving away your secrets.
That's right. So,
The problem is in your mind's eye, you're probably still 21, right?
Yep. I feel 21. I don't 60. Holy smokes! I just
That's
about
why you and Hal are out playing all the time.
He's actually on a cruise in Bermuda right now. I'm by myself.
Oh,
I think 60 is the new 40.
That's what I think. When I'm 70, that's the new 30. You know.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, my definition of old is somebody who's 20 years older than me, and so the benefit of that is that I'll never be old.
That's right.
Oldest always 10 years older than you are.
Right.
Well, on that note, we're going to end for today.
Thank
Have a
you.
great weekend, everyone. See you next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.